At number 3 we have The Thing, based on the short story Who Goes There by John Campbell and inspired by the Howard Hawks original. This film is probably the only science fiction horror movie that can claim to equal or come close to Ridley Scott's Alien in terms of atmosphere. The film takes place in and around a remote Antarctic research station. The expedition is manned by 12 men, all alone in the vast icy wilderness. Their sleepy existence is suddenly broken when they come face to face with a hideous creature from another world. The creature is able to shapeshift, duplicate, and take the form of any living organism. Once it has done this, there is seemingly no way to tell whether someone is the thing or who they say they really are. The film quickly moves from a struggle for survival to the realization that these 12 men are the only ones who can stop this creature from infecting the entire planet. Once again, Carpenter manages to create a film engulfed with tension and horror. The cast are superb in relaying the sense of isolation to the audience, while the cinematography of Dean Cundey sells the whole movie, making it one of Carpenter's most visually stunning films. Special mention should go here to Robert Bottin and the special effects crew's achievement in this film. The creature effects are stunning and completely hold up to the computer generated images we see today. In fact, they may even be better in some places. A horrifying, gore-laden exercise in terror that keeps you gripped to the end and has a real ballsy conclusion to it that most filmmakers wouldn't have the guts to go through with. An absolute classic that with time is finally getting the recognition it deserves. At number 2 we have The Fog, a ghost story set in a small coastal town in Northern California. As the isolated town of Antonio Bay celebrates its 100th anniversary, a fog rolls in, carrying with it a terrible secret and the ghosts of the drowned looking for revenge. The Fog is a masterclass in storytelling. The film is dripped in atmosphere and pays homage to the old ghost stories of the 18th and 19th century. Mixed with the tradition of the campfire ghost story, which is exactly how the film begins, Carpenter achieves a successful combination of supernatural tension, jump-out scares, and a decent helping of gore to create one of the most effective horror films of all time. This movie makes you think twice about going out into the fog, and for those who have seen it, don't you think Blake is badass? Well, we've reached the end of my list and seen a lot of great films. What's number 1, I hear you ask? Well, no doubt this is controversial, but I'm sticking to it. At number 1 we have Big Trouble in Little China, in my opinion one of the most underrated films of all time. Big Trouble in Little China follows the exploits of Jack Burton as he stumbles into an ancient war between an evil sorcerer called Lo Pang and his minions and the forces of good led by another sorcerer called Egg Shen. Lo Pang requires a green-eyed girl so he can sacrifice her to his god, lift the curse he is under and become whole again. He kidnaps 2 such girls and thus Jack and his friend are thrown into this epic battle, setting out in true heroic style to rescue the girls and defeat Lo Pang's minions. So what's so great about this film? Well, Big Trouble is unlike any film you will ever see. It's a martial arts movie, it's an adventure film, it's an action movie, it's a fantasy movie, it's an eastern, it's a western, it's a comedy, and there are even moments of horror and other supernatural goings on, but all in all add up to be one of the most entertaining films I've ever seen. Now, many of you may not have heard of this film. This is because Big Trouble in Little China wasn't a great commercial success when it was first released. The studios obviously didn't know what they had on their hands at the time, as they were trying to market the film as some sort of Rambo type of movie. In other words, the problem was Jack Burton. This character is incredibly funny. He basically is out of his element at every turn, but manages to overcome the odds. He is clumsy and often ridiculous, but when it comes down to it, he manages to luck his way through, making him one of the best action heroes in cinema history. I can't recommend this film enough. Go and buy it, see if you agree, and you won't be disappointed. Well, thanks for sticking with me until the end. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I did making this. Got to go through some films I love, and all in all, I hope people will check out these movies, as John Carpenter is certainly one of the great filmmakers of the past 30 years. Thanks again.